everyone to a mashup of Toonhounds and Daredevil in the Details.
Yeah.
So this isn't the it's kind of like your fortnightly foray into all things animated, but it's also
your daily deluge into all things Daredevil.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, that's good.
You'll have to listen to this podcast every day for a week for the intro to make sense, but I'll trust you with it.
I mean, why wouldn't you listen to this
exactly.
every day for a week?
Yeah.
So my name's Rich Masters, and with me, as always, is the horn to my head, the fear, the lack of fear to my man. It's Spivzy.
The devil to your guardian. Hello.
Hello. So we decided last episode to postpone our Steven Universe episode because we didn't want to do 2 guest episodes in a row.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And we just thought we'd reward ourselves for doing a guest episode last week with taking a podcast off. So this is going to be released as Daredevil with the Details and the regular episode of Storylords Toonhounds.
Jeez.
What's that? I don't even know what that is.
Never heard of it.
So we are doing Daredevil appearances in cartoons.
Oh, how fun.
Leave a gap for the audience to groan. Yeah, not enough Daredevil side conversations. Now it's taken over the whole podcast.
Yeah.
Luckily, though, for you guys, this will be the one and only time we do this because Daredevil has appeared in precisely 5 Marvel cartoons.
Yes. But at time of recording, we don't know if in a week's time there's going to be a stealth drop of a new Daredevil cartoon series. You never know.
That would be good. That would be great. I would love that. Especially because Charlie Cox's voice in Daredevil in the animated series is going on.
Yeah, and he's not too bad.
I feel like he just really loves the character, so that's it. He's the character now.
It's weird hearing him with an English accent when he's in other things. Yeah. It doesn't sound right to me.
I watched a video of him and Vincent D'Onofrio telling each other jokes and trying to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
And because it got recommended to me because the algorithm obviously works. And it's really strange hearing him.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
It's also weird seeing him in stuff like Starlight and realising how he hasn't aged.
Yeah, yeah. I feel the same way with Orlando Bloom. Whenever I hear him on interviews using his actual normal London voice. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Who are you?
Do you know who the worst incongruous voice to face is? Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Hearing his accent go all South London, even though he's from Wales, it's really weird.
Same with Michael Fassbender when he puts it with it. The only time when he shouts in movies, his Irish accent comes out. Yeah. That's the only time.
Yeah. The same goes for Jamie Dornan.
Yeah.
He you can't because are they from Northern Ireland? Both of them.
I think.
I know Jamie Dornan is. It's really hard to hide that Northern Irish.
Yeah.
Especially when you're angry. Bostonians do the same thing. Like when Ben Affleck is shouting as Batman, his car comes through.
Yeah. The car.
So anyway.
Anyway,
we are talking about our beloved old hornhead, Daredevil, and there are some varying degrees of quality as representation goes. We're going to talk about the 1994 cartoon, The Fantastic Four, first.
Which a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people even know this cartoon exists. But
do you know what? I did watch this when I was younger.
I never.
It's a really good representation of the comics, the early FF comics, because this episode, which is unfortunately called "And a Blind Man Shall Lead Them," is a direct representation of issue 39 of the Fantastic Four.
That's funny.
Absolutely, the same things happen in it.
Is Daredevil still there for some reason?
Yes, he is for some reason.
Yeah, because all blind people know each other.
Yeah.
That's the explanation in the show.
It really is. It's really awkward. But this is... the reason we're talking about this one first is because this is a direct interpretation of the campier Daredevil from the 70s, where he was like What ho, it's Hornhead!
Yeah, where he's fighting a man dressed as a matador, and he's not secretly like selling drugs or anything. He's just a man dressed as a matador. He's like stealing sacks of cash from the bank. It's that kind of supervillain.
Yeah, it wasn't a great period for Daredevil in the comics.
It's funny. I'll keep it there.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of like Batman in the 70s, right? Batman was going to space.
Yeah, Silver Age. Yeah. Was it Silver Age or was it Bronze Age then?
I think it was Bronze by that point, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But Daredevil wasn't... Like, Daredevil had been cancelled a few times by this point. I wouldn't... Not in the comics, by the time the cartoon had come out.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good.
No.
At all. It lent too far into... You can't set up the construct of a character who is a very serious lawyer. It works in a law practice.
Yeah.
The Catholicism angle, the
it's hard
womanizing
to make it
angle. You can't make that chipper Spider-Man.
There was also a big problem with a lot of people just not understanding how his power worked.
Yeah, because it changed from issue to issue as well. That's why. And it changed from cartoon to cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, like in this one, he uses his power in a way that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
No. Are you talking about finding the trapdoor?
Yeah. How did he see a trapdoor? Did it make a noise?
Don't know.
He's not got X-ray vision.
No. So this I started watching this cartoon. I'd never seen... if I had, I'd completely forgotten it, because I watched most of the others. So, the Fantastic Four cartoon, they introduced so much so quickly. Like, the first episode is them talking to Dick Clark about their powers.
Wow.
And then you've got... Yeah, I know. Then you've got, like, the Submariner is introduced, Black Panther, Doctor Doom, the Inhumans, Galactus.
Yeah, I saw that it was a lot of stuff about the Inhumans. But Silver Surfer got his own cartoon as well, didn't he?
He did. It was a spin-off of this.
Why was this the only one that got a spin-off?
I don't know.
That's weird too.
Don't know.
Because there were what other ones were there? Because I remember the Iron Man cartoon being really bad.
Hulk.
I remember the Hulk cartoon being pretty good. It had a good theme. It had a good opening.
It was the... they were out around the same time as this as well, like 94, 95. You had... Because Iron Man became Force Works after a while.
Yeah.
Which was the team he was in that was like the West Coast Avengers. You had Spider-Man, obviously, 90s. X-Men.
Yeah.
I don't think you've never had... Oh, yes, you have. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is really good.
I don't remember that one. Was that the one... Was Cap in that one?
Yeah, so basically, I think it was... it's only come out in the last, 15 years or something like that. It was written by Carl Yost or Christopher... I can't remember. The guys who wrote that really good run of X-Force, who involved in everything.
Rob Liefeld.
No. Came out in 2010.
That's why I don't
15
know it.
years ago, yeah. Quite... I would say the animation is spotty, but it's a perfect interpretation of the Avengers stories. It's really worth a watch.
Does Daredevil appear in it?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I know. But Wolverine and Spider-Man and Luke Cage do. It's like most of the people who have been an Avenger in the past. Yeah. It's really good. It is really good. This came out 1994, and Spivzy and I have already had a conversation about this off stream. It's like someone created a cartoon but didn't know how to tell a story in that cartoon.
It's insane. It is genuinely one of the weirdest things I've ever seen on this show. It was like
much happens.
It was a mile a minute, but I didn't feel like I needed any context for what was happening. Like, this could have been a continuation from the previous episode, or this could have just been the first part of a saga.
Well, I thought it was.
I did as well.
I went back and I was like, what am I watching? Am I watching two-part? No, just starts with a really, really hot open.
Yeah, like, he just starts with Sue Storm imprisoned in some kind of, force field chamber underneath an island, and the Thing attacking things with his magically undulating upper torso, because the animation in this show is so funny. Every time they ran, it looked like they shit themselves.
Yeah. I don't like the voice actors at all in this.
I didn't really it didn't really go in. I didn't really think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was so surface level, right?
Yeah. The Doom voice actor was brilliant. I loved the guy voicing Doom.
The only thing is, I would say he was slightly too British.
He was very camp.
But he was very dramatic.
Yeah.
Very dramatic.
My favourite part was I had to like rewind and play it again to check the subtitles to see if he actually said what I thought he'd said.
Right.
Where he's blowing up New York and he flies away and says, "A pity, I never did get to see cats."
Yeah, I remember that. I remember laughing at it. So the show opens with like Doom nuking an island, basically.
Yeah. Just got a nuke.
And they just lose their powers.
Yeah, which I thought that was really funny because it's such it's a very very 1960s 1970s Fantastic Four thing for the Thing to lose his powers and then have to get them back.
Yeah,
in some way they did it constantly in What If comics. Like every What If ended with, "Oh, the Thing's a normal guy again," and that was like the happy ending.
Yeah,
they loved going back to that well.
I feel like as well, the first Fantastic Four movie might have been based on some elements of this plot.
Yeah.
Because you remember, do you remember?
I vaguely remember.
Widely forgettable.
Yeah.
But Doom gives Ben his humanity back, and then Ben is the one who has to
give
himself his powers back. Yeah.
And there's that really funny shot of Michael Chiklis' face like screaming in the little window in that little booth he's in.
He was such a bad choice.
Terrible.
To be Ben Grimm.
Oh, that movie was 20 years early.
Yeah.
They didn't have what was, necessary to be able to make that film yet. They tried though, God bless them.
Also that Doom isn't just some arrogant businessman.
No, he's a genius.
But more than that, he's a sorcerer. I mean, in the comics, he's a sorcerer supreme at the moment.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Doctor Doom has been everything. I think part of like Doctor Doom's storyline is him trying to find his niche, like where he belongs. Yeah. So he tries everything.
Yeah.
Like he was Iron Man for a bit.
Yeah. And he's been like Emperor Doom, which I think we're going to get in the films, which is such a bad thing because we're not going to get any build up.
Yeah.
So, Doom nukes an island. Somehow the Fantastic Four are able to survive that through Sue Storm's force fields.
That's something that I thought was really funny in like the plot of this episode, that they're hanging out with Daredevil for a bit. It's basically just a regular guy who's got good senses hanging out with four gods. Like they have classically been four of the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I mean, Reed's indestructible.
Yeah.
Genuinely indestructible.
Ben's an immortal.
Yeah.
He's one of the only few full immortal beings. Like, he is going to survive until the heat death of the universe, no matter what.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Johnny can literally match the output of a star.
He can clone himself now.
Oh, my God. Like Iceman can.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then Sue Storm is the most powerful of all four of them.
Yeah. Sue Storm once blocked out the sun using a force field. She turned the sun invisible at one point.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They're the living embodiment of the elements, the four elements.
And they're hanging out with a lawyer.
With Daredevil.
Yeah. And Daredevil's like clowning on them as well.
Yeah.
He's showing them up.
So the episode is about them trying to get their powers back. At a mile a minute, and nothing is explained. But the funniest part is the whole Daredevil introduction, where like Ben gets his humanity back. He's not the Thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And Alicia takes him. Alicia, his blind girlfriend, takes him to see Matt Murdock for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get why. No.
Because, as Spivzy said, all blind people know each other. The network.
That must be what they're saying. Yeah.
The blind redhead network.
I like that Matthew's law firm was just like a cupboard in that Highlands office. That's a tiny room with one desk.
And like a big window, but nothing else.
Yeah.
Ben is the rudest person here. He's like, I don't see how a blind person can help us. Come on, blind girlfriend, let's go.
Yeah. It's really funny. And when they're at the zoo, that orangutan is like going berserk and like pulling. It's moving the bars on its enclosure, and it's right next to like a bench where people can sit to have lunch. What kind of zoo is this?
A dangerous one.
Yeah, and that little kid pointing and saying, "Look at that ugly orange freak."
I also really like about this episode that Reed's way of dealing with them losing their powers is to build suits that replicate their powers.
And the Thing suit is canon, because there's a what's her name? Miss Thing.
Yep.
She has to use that. That's a dumb character.
Yeah.
Was that a Matt Fraction one, I think? I think it was Matt Fraction.
I can't remember. But
that's stupid.
The best thing is when Ben does get his powers back from humanity back. I think it's when they go to the Beyonder in First Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And She-Hulk becomes part of the Fantastic Four. That makes much more sense.
Yeah. Just get somebody else. Get somebody else in. I would have thought I don't get the impression that if the Fantastic Four at this stage in their comic life, if they lost their powers, they would really care that much. I think they'd No. I think Reed would prefer to just be doing his science and engineering and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think Johnny would be upset.
Yeah, Johnny's the showboat though, isn't he?
Yeah, but the others, I don't think they'd mind.
No, this cartoon had a real problem with the 90s portrayal of women on men's teams.
Yeah,
Reed, my darling, is all she says. That she can only talk in affectionate, emotive terms. And she's a damsel in distress.
Yeah, twice.
Constantly.
Which is silly when, even in the episode, she is clearly shown to be the most powerful out of all of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And she's been the most powerful.
She's been the most powerful since the 60s.
Yeah. And even back in the 60s, it was way worse the way they portrayed her.
Yeah, she was always getting kidnapped.
Yeah. Or every storyline was about her pregnancy, her getting kidnapped, or who she's in love with.
Yeah.
It was always that.
Submariner or Reed. Who cares?
Yeah. Neither of them. They both suck.
Reed is
you could do better,
one of the worst comic characters I've ever read. Whenever Reed Richards, apart from the Jonathan Hickman run, whenever Reed Richards is in a comic, I'm like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
And it's weird because the other three I care about.
He's the cause of Marvel Zombies, and it's so in character.
Yeah. He's the cause of the Ultimate Universe dying as well.
Yeah. What an arsehole.
Yeah. Daredevil in this is a jokester.
Yeah, he's a wisecracker. Yeah. He's a clown, a circus acrobat.
He's so out of place in this.
I don't know why he's there.
Cartoon. Because he's in the comic. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
But he's doing all the things that Daredevil does in a guest appearance. He's guiding them through smoke.
Yeah.
He's but in both cartoons they do this. How can you see through the smoke? He just can.
It doesn't matter. He's got good glasses on. He's wearing a visor. Just assume that he's got some kind of tech inside his helmet.
And he takes the
when Doctor Doom is using his vortex machine, which he's just got a vortex machine. I'm assuming that was from the comic as well. And
Probably.
Daredevil stops it by getting it to suck up all the flammable oil on the dock, and then he taps it.
He uses his billy club to ignite the fuel. Yeah.
How did he do that?
I assume it has at the end
flint at the end of his billy club.
Yeah, exactly, like a flint or like a match.
That seems really dangerous.
Yeah, it does, especially because he was standing amongst that fuel.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that would have been a great. What would ending that would have been? He sets fire to the vortex thing, just immolates.
Yeah, there's not much to say about. He acts as the distraction for Doom, which they are so mismatched.
Yeah, I didn't understand that very much, because his distraction for Doom is to try to sneak into his space.
Which the Fantastic Four are going to.
Yeah, they were already doing that. He just went through the top. He just went through a higher window. And then he has that really bad fight with Doom. Where he
gets bitch slapped instantly.
And the thing is, Doom stands there for 30 seconds monologuing. And then
as he reels in the rope.
Yeah.
And then he grabs him by the wrists, and that's it. Daredevil's gone. He's out.
Yeah.
My favourite bit of the cartoon was when Doom locked them in the room with the device that could make them the Fantastic Four again.
Yeah. Really funny. But he somehow, in the time that he had been there, had set up this device to make the walls go up and to suck all the air out of the room through vents, and knew that if he shot this one certain pipe, it would freeze them all. Because for some reason there's nitrogen gas going through the pipes at the Baxter building.
I mean, Reed has got some messed up plans, right?
Yeah.
My other favourite bit was when Sue was like, "Careful, there's dynamite!" Like Doom is a genius, and it seems such a pedestrian thing to do. Like dynamite in a staircase is something that I think is below Doom. It's
that's
just
like Taken.
Yeah, it's like, careful, he set up some paint cans on the stairs, Home Alone style.
They go into the room and start sliding around on the iced floor.
Yeah, Doom's wacky plans were really funny. It was like Kevin McAllister.
What was up with his flying castle?
I don't know. The flying castle that had his face.
It was enormous. I thought it was funny that why didn't his robots look like Doombots as well?
I know. They look like Machine Man.
I thought they looked like Sentinels.
Also, they could hear Doom from his castle.
Yeah.
But yet he also put a big giant hologram in the sky.
That was funny. A big giant hologram in the sky that was somehow able to interact normally with the environment because it shot out that laser beam.
Of course. If there is a criticism of this cartoon that I think is the strongest one, because there are many, it's that I think this was too honest to its source material.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It was the most like I said on the Discord, this is the most 1970s version of a 1990s cartoon.
Yeah.
It felt so out of place and old. Like, it felt like the Super Friends.
Yeah, it really did, you're right. Or the 60s Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah.
There was pseudo-sexism, ableism, just Doom doing wacky plans. I expected him at one point to do the finger laser he used to have.
Yeah.
Ben getting his powers back, wacky suits.
I'm so unused to Doctor Doom actually physically trying to kill the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he hasn't done that for about 10 years.
No, yeah, it's just not his style anymore. I don't think he cares that much anymore. He just wants to be left to lead.
He's Valeria's godfather.
Yeah.
Which I always find really strange. It's like Reed and Sue offered up their child as a sort of like olive branch.
Yeah.
If you be the godfather of our child, you wouldn't hurt us.
I mean, it worked.
It does work, yeah. It's an odd cartoon.
Yes. It was weird. It was a weird one. Yeah.
There's so much Daredevil in it, but he does absolutely nothing.
He doesn't. It's the 2 times that he does his Daredevil powers is to see a trapdoor which you shouldn't be able to see, and he uses his Daredevil powers to be able to know where this gigantic swirling vortex of fire is. And I don't think he would have needed to use his powers to know where that was. It was huge, making so much noise. It was smashing up buildings.
Yeah.
If I closed my eyes, I would have known where it was.
I don't think that highlighting Daredevil's powers as being something a regular person would have, a regular able-bodied person, is a good way to display how his powers work.
No, I don't think they really
he's a blind man that can see, so he's not blind then. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
The complication over his powers. I did find...
Can you hear that helicopter outside?
Oh, yeah.
It's so loud.
For you. They're going to rappel into your garden.
It's getting louder.
It's hard for me to say I didn't like this because I found it really funny.
I thought it was really
unintentionally funny.
Yeah. I don't know if it was unintentional or not. I can't work it out. Like, I don't know if they knew how camp this was.
I think it's like
compared to the other 90s Fox Kids cartoons for Marvel properties, it's so out of place. Because all the others are like dark and gritty and serious issues.
The Spider-Man cartoon is grim at times. It's I think it was from this sort of like McFarlane era Spidey where like it wasn't just enough to just keep piling on Peter. You had to make him miserable.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what's happened ever since with Spider-Man, apart from when Brian Michael Bendis writes him. Because people don't understand that Spider-Man isn't brought down by these things. He is still happy and still a positive character. And I find that a hard pill to swallow with Spider-Man. It's why I don't read Spider-Man. I haven't read Spider-Man for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Because I just can't put up with his glib sort of like rubbish anymore.
I can't keep up with when things are happening with the series. Because Spider-Man's one of the like tentpole characters, so he keeps showing up in crossover events and stuff. And I can't. It's too much for me. I can't work out when to read and when things have happened. Like when does Spider-Verse happen in terms of like the series? I can't work it out, so I just don't bother with it anymore.
I think it's just after Superior Spider-Man, isn't it?
Yeah, the last time.
But even then, that doesn't mean anything.
The last Spider-Man comic I read was when Norman Osborn went good for a while, and then the stuff with Avengers versus X-Men versus what they called Eternals.
Eternals, yeah. That was
when that happened, which was terrible. And then he went evil again. Norman Osborn did, and he became the Green Goblin. And then it was like, has he been the Green Goblin this entire time? And he's been manipulating everyone. And I thought, I can't be bothered anymore. I'm bored of this.
Yeah, I think I've read this 100 times.
Yeah.
The last Marvel Spider-Man I read, I think, was Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because that was interesting. It's something different.
Superior Spider-Man was fun. I liked Superior Spider-Man. I don't know why it got so much criticism when it first started. Because I mean, it's a comic book. It was going to go back to the status quo eventually anyway.
It's like the Hydra Cap, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the Wolverine
they've ruined it. So just read another one in 2 months' time, and it's going to be back to normal.
Yeah, it's just the era we live in about internet rage, right?
Yeah.
People have got too much time on their hands. They want to make content and reaction videos.
We say as we make a podcast reacting to a cartoon.
Yeah, but we're reacting to a cartoon that was 20, 30 years ago. It doesn't make it's largely irrelevant. We're reacting to things very late.
Yes.
With mainly positivity.
We've always got a finger on the pulse.
Yeah. It's the pulse of a dying man.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. What would you give this?
I don't want to be too kind to it because it was shit, but it was a fun kind of shit.
Like a 5?
Yeah, like a 4 or a 5. I'm going to go straight to the middle and say a 5.
All right.
A 5.
I think a 5 as well. I think it's just it's like a time capsule. I think I would recommend going and watching this.
I'm not going to watch any other Fantastic Four episodes because I thought the show itself was a bit crap.
Yeah. Oh, the show itself is terrible.
Yeah.
But I think there's only like 12 episodes.
24. I looked it up.
Oh, 24?
Yeah.
This was Series 2, Episode 1. Like, what a way to...
Oh, this was on Disney Plus. This is Series 1, Episode 12.
Weird.
Yeah. They must have thought there's no point saying this is 2 seasons. There's only 24 episodes. And did this one have like a subtitle like, Doctor Doom Revenge Part 7 or something?
No.
No, it was just blind man lead blind whatever it was.
And a blind man shall lead us.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
It's difficult, right? Because there are so many other good cartoons from the time.
Yeah.
And so many other good examples of superhero storytelling.
Yeah.
What I think this highlights is that the Fantastic Four as a team are a little boring.
Yeah, I've never really been a big fan of the Fantastic Four. I like the Fantastic Four more when they're like separated from one another and they're doing their own thing. Like I like it when Johnny shows up in different things. I think he's a cool character. I like, variants on Reed Richards. I liked it when Ben and Johnny were in Moon Girl and they made the Fantastic Three. That was really fun. Yep.
I really am interested to see how the film goes down because I think it's a really tricky property.
Yeah.
And I think like setting it in the retrofuturism angle of a 60s inspired modern day is just inspired. It's like a really clever way to do it.
Yeah. And it's a shame that we're never going to see that world again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
But I think you can't have... I think Doctor Doom is the most interesting member of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Yeah, I do as well. Yeah.
I think their villains are really like Silver Surfer, Terrax, the stuff with Annihilus and the Negative Zone. I mean,
Mole
they
Man,
did...
The Thinker. I love the Thinker.
Super Skrull. Yeah. They're all great villains and... It's a shame they're hitched to the Fantastic Four bandwagon. But Fantastic Four was insanely popular. at the time. It was like Marvel's highest-selling comic. It was like Star Trek in comic form.
And it saved Marvel back in the day.
Yep. Same as Daredevil did in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a 5 is probably generous. On half. It is generous. It's well worth it. Really bad Daredevil appearance, though.
Yeah, at least he didn't have a funny voice.
Yeah.
We'll get into Daredevil's funny voices.
We'll get into that. What do you want to do? Do you want to take a break?
Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. I need to blow my nose so badly.
It's an Evil Knievel rally. Far out! Wow!
Evel Knievel, sold separately or with the Evel Knievel stunt cycle from Ideal.
Welcome back, everyone, to Daredevil in the Details X Toonhounds.
With our special guests, ourselves.
We're talking Daredevil appearances in cartoons, and the next one we're talking about is the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
Really?
When did this...
Oh boy, this cartoon.
96. September 28th, 96.
See, the thing is, I loved this Spider-Man cartoon when I was a kid.
Everyone did.
Everyone did. But it does not know what kind of show it wants to be. The tone is all over the place.
It's so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. Yeah. It's an odd cartoon.
It's weird.
I really don't like the 3D computer generated occasional bits.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that even exists.
Because it looked cool in 1995.
It's trying to get zeitgeist.
Yeah. Everyone was talking about reboot, so they had to get on the bandwagon.
It's interesting to me that this is the first episode that Spider-Man realises that Fisk is Kingpin.
Yeah.
Because he's been in it a really long time. Yeah. This is season 3, episode 7. This is the Sins of the Fathers storyline. Because after season 1, which was just like introducing every villain.
They did arcs for everything.
Yeah, you had the mutation arc in the second series where he was 6-armed and then he was the Spider Beast, and you had
that's the one I remember
Blade most.
And Morbius.
Did we talk about this episode, the Morbius episode?
What one did we do? We did a Spider-Man episode, but I do not remember which one it was.
And I don't remember what it was for either.
Oh, it was when we did Fox Kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you just picked a fucking weird random episode.
Yeah, I don't remember which one we did.
It was the one with Blade and Morbius.
Was it?
I think so. And the Punisher was in it?
Yeah, I remember the Punisher because he had that weird. He had like a net gun instead of his normal weaponry. Yeah,
and he wore green instead of black, and he had a headband.
Yeah,
but this is smack bang in the middle of one of those arcs. This is chapter 7 of an arc where Peter is finding out what Richard Parker did, and he was how he was a Shield agent and stuff like that, which is a weird. I don't like that element of.
I like the versions of Richard Parker where he was an explorer and he went down on a plane on like a deserted island or something.
He's still out there.
Fun. Yeah, he's still out there living amongst the foliage. She's living with Kazar or whatever his name is. The warrior guy. Yeah, he's living with
Kazar and Shanna the She-Devil.
Yeah.
I imagined him living with Paddington.
In Peru.
Yeah, this cartoon is burned in my memory, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It's I had a big problem with X-Men 97, the 1996 X-Men series for the same reason.
Yeah.
They interpret the storylines, but they're off-kilter.
Yeah, I did remember parts of this while I was watching it. I thought I've seen this before, but it would have been when I was 9. But the one scene that was burned into my memory for some reason was the Aunt Anna Watson talking shit about Peter Parker while he's hanging outside the window.
Yeah,
I remember that scene so vividly.
I remembered Peter downloading stuff onto writable CD-ROM.
Oh God,
that happened a lot.
I was cringing the entire time they were holding that CD-ROM by the base, getting their fingerprints all over it. I was thinking, when you get that home, it's not going to work. It's going to be so scratched up.
I did like.
Did you see that bit where he downloads it onto the optical disc and then he puts it in his pants? Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah. But there's a few things where Spider-Man is pulling things out of places that he shouldn't.
Yeah.
I did like how Daredevil was coloured.
Yeah. I don't like his hair.
Why is he blonde?
I don't know why he was blonde. I don't know why he had that voice. That voice was so funny.
Hello, I'm Daredevil.
It's me, Daredevil. I've come to help you, Peter. I've got to say this because we were like on the Daredevil stuff. At the end, when he is like saying, did you figure out my secret identity, Daredevil? He says, no, because I respected your privacy, but know that I'm a friend of yours, and also I really like law. And I wonder who you could be.
There's no way he doesn't know.
There's no way.
Yesterday we were talking.
Both sides. There's no way that either of them don't know who the other is. Unless Spider-Man is a complete moron.
I said, I'm going to watch the first part of this Spider-Man episode as well. Wow, yeah. Matt's voice is so deep in this. And then two minutes later, you were like, why is his voice so deep?
It's incredible. It's so deep. But he's talking slow as well, like he was putting it on.
Hello, Spider-Man.
It
sounds like an impression.
Daredevil.
Hello, Spider-Man.
Dr. Claw as Daredevil.
The rough story in this one is that Peter is getting framed by Fisk. I don't know how. I don't know why the CIA or S.H.I.E.L.D. would chase him, because he's clearly only had a small job interview for Fisk. And all of a sudden, he's been given this data and he's then accused of selling state secrets. And the CIA barge into his house and arrest him.
Yeah.
And then he hides out in Daredevil's flat while Daredevil is clearly wearing the Daredevil costume under a dressing gown.
And he breaks into his house at one point and says, looks like I'm home alone. I'll just put the TV on and see what the news is like.
Yeah.
In this bizarre past where people didn't have phones on them at all times. So Spider-Man gets important news about his own family by watching the news.
It's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
Peter Parker's aunt is in hospital. Oh no!
Me.
But basically, you've got like a classic mistaken identity thing where Peter is being framed, but Daredevil doesn't know that Peter is Spider-Man, and Spider-Man doesn't know that Matt Murdock is Daredevil. So they have a little fight. I don't know how, because clearly Daredevil would recognise his voice in a matter of seconds, and I think he does know.
Yeah, he must do. Like, even when he says, I respected your privacy, and that's why I didn't look under your mask. That's not how his power works. Like, he doesn't have a switch that he can flip and not know
X-ray
things.
vision.
Yeah. Like, he would go, oh, you smell like spiders. I know who you are. You smell like web.
Yeah, Daredevil... Is it in this one where he reveals his origin story, or is it the first part that I watched as well?
I think it's in the first part. The only bits of the past that we get in this one is when he's having that fight with Kingpin, or he turns out to not be Kingpin, and he has that flashback of him seeing his dad die, and it's him going, Father!
Yeah. So in the first part, you get the battling Jack Murdock origin, where he's killed and stuff like that. But he's an enforcer for Wilson Fisk, but then he decides one day to save someone who Wilson Fisk is bullying and or intimidating, and he's never seen again. And I was come on!
So they weren't allowed to say that he'd been killed, in other words.
Or that he was a scumbag.
Yeah. It was really funny how they kept trying to, avoid violence in this cartoon where everybody was shooting at each other with guns. So nobody uses bullets, they've all got laser pistols. But the whole NYPD has got laser guns.
Yeah, I never understood that, because Batman the Animated Series was out at the same time, and they have Tommy guns.
Yeah.
And, there is explosions aplenty.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's like how Morbius he wasn't a vampire. He had that weird like lamprey mouth in his hands.
Yeah.
And he sucks out the energy instead of the blood.
Yeah. I remember that. So weird.
Yeah.
I really like in this episode that Daredevil doesn't bother making a copy of the CD.
No, at no point. No. And
He
there was
just
that bit
gives
where he asked for a receipt.
I think what it's supposed to be is a chain of custody receipt of evidence, which makes sense. But you can't say that in a cartoon.
No.
It's not.
I'm going to need a receipt. The only copy.
It's weird that he's given her the only copy.
Yeah.
Why has he done that?
Just copy it. But maybe they need one of them gigantic, enormous computer systems to be able to use it. That reminded me so much of the 90s, early 2000s PlayStation 1 Spider-Man games. Like Enter Electro, where every time you had to use a computer, it was this enormous just device on the side of a wall.
Yeah. Like a giant ATM.
Yeah.
I like that Richard Fisk is in this. I don't like their double-breasted suits. It really bothered me. It was like, this wasn't even fashionable in the 90s.
And he had exactly the same haircut as, what's his name? The Spider Slayer guy whose name I can't remember.
Oh, Smythe.
Smythe. Yeah, they had the same haircut, so that kept confusing me.
I like Alistair Smythe's evil Professor X wheelchair.
Yeah.
And it's not yellow, it's dark grey. Yeah, he's got a crew cut mullet, which I feel like has predicted the future, because lots of kids are going around with this sort of like side shaved, long, like
they're back in fashion.
Yeah.
If you've got a crew cut mullet, let us know.
Toonhounds. One of the voice things that sticks in my head about this cartoon as a whole is Wilson Fisk's voice, because he is clearly voiced by a black actor, and it always was like, that is such a powerful voice.
It's a really cool voice. I remembered the voice very vividly.
Yeah, I can't remember who it is. Damn it. But yeah, it was always. I've got to find out now. Got to find out.
Like, genuinely, Kingpin. One of the best things in the Ben Devil 2003 movie is Michael Clarke Duncan playing Kingpin.
Yeah. Although he's not believable as a... This is going to sound awful. He's too nice, Michael Clarke Duncan. He was too nice.
Yeah.
He's not believable as a horrible genius.
No, yeah.
He's believable. Because, I think that is because I saw him first in The Green Mile, and he's simple but lovable. So I always see him as simple but lovable. And he's Bear in Armageddon, right?
Yeah.
So those two films, and then seeing him as Kingpin, he wasn't quite believable. But I agree, he is one of the best parts of that. The guy's name is Roscoe Lee Brown.
Cool.
What a cool name.
That's a really cool name.
He's the sort of character that you'd find in a Shaft chorus.
Yeah.
Roscoe Lee Brown is like Shaft's informant, confidential informant. But he's got such a powerful voice.
Yeah, really cool.
So good. Then you get a Kingpin origin. The fight scenes are fine, right? Matt's like doing the Matt stuff.
See, I think because this was like traditionally animated, they had to like cut corners a lot in this show, so it looks cheap a lot of the time. But I think because they couldn't spend so much time on fight scenes, that's why this show became so memorable for people, because of all the dialogue scenes and the setting stuff up and the relationships between Spider-Man and all of his people. Like, there's a lot of that in this episode. But whenever anybody moves, the gaps start to show. It's like there's that one shot of Mary Jane walking down a corridor and she's floating like 5 feet above the floor.
Yeah, the perspectives are all wrong.
Yeah.
She when she goes into the Peter drags her into the linen cupboard in the hospital, right? The nurse's cupboard. And it's a top-down perspective, but she is like she's in no way in connection with the floor, you're right.
It's really weird,
or the door. Like, it looks like she's going to hit her head on the beam of the door.
Yeah. There's a lot of shots that, like, transitionary shots where it'll be like the matte painting background of the city, and they'll spin the camera, but like in a sort of like clockwise direction. Mm-hmm. So everything will just like rotate slightly before it goes to the next scene, and it's really weird.
There's a lot. I've told you this. I told you this before we recorded as well. But there's a lot of bits during fights and like Peter crawling that they reused animation all the time. Yeah. There was a bit at the start of the episode where he goes back in to get the disc after the building starts to explode, and they use a scene of him crawling on a sewer pipe.
Yeah,
he's not in a sewer.
Where was that from? Yeah,
it's from the first episode where he fights the lizard.
I remember when we talked about the other episode that we watched, that they used that swinging animation like 12 times in the episode.
It's the same. It's all throughout this series. It's very, very cheaply made. Like the X-Men cartoon was.
That the banister in his house was CG animated for no reason.
No.
Yeah, I think this was in the first one that we watched when he comes out of his bedroom and just the staircase is 3D for no reason.
Yeah, I remember. I do remember because Matt mentioned it, didn't he?
Yeah, really weird.
Because I think Matt said that was one of the things that he used to enjoy about the cartoon, or used to stand out in the cartoon when he watched it when he was young.
Just unnecessary 3D elements.
Yeah. Then we've got that bit where Anna Watson, Mary Jane's aunt, is clearly the chameleon because she's wearing that green belt that the chameleon always wears.
And
no one
Anna
notices.
Watson she's got a strong face.
Yeah,
she's got like
strong voice. Good.
She's big. She could I think she could wrestle Peter.
Yeah, I feel like
looks like a linebacker.
I feel like the character models are like reused quite often.
I think they must be.
She is broad.
Yeah.
Broader than Harry Osborn.
Yeah. Harry Osborn in his weird pea-coloured coat.
Yeah, it's weird. This is one thing I really did despise about this cartoon when I was younger. Like, everyone's attire.
Yeah,
like
the
Peter's
fashion's incredible.
Horrible mauve t-shirt and grey shirt. Mary Jane Watson's purple polo neck under a yellow cardigan.
And her,
it was like
cowboy boots with the jeans tucked into cowboy boots.
It's awful. Awful.
The fashion's incredible. But there was the guys in the suits who all had like different coloured suits on. I assumed so you could like differentiate between the characters. Yep. But everybody just looks so like multicoloured. It was
it's
a very colourful show.
It's like they've spun the wheel of primary colours. Yeah. Like Richard Fisk, your suit is green and your shirt is red.
Who is dressing these people?
I don't know. A picture has just cropped up of Matt Murdock in his smoking jacket with his Daredevil costume clearly underneath. So Kingpin arranges for Peter Parker to be kidnapped, and Daredevil and Spider-Man fight Kingpin. Daredevil fights Chameleon as Kingpin. As Daredevil would have known for a bit. I
mean, it is implied that he did know because he's the one who reveals it at the end. But if that was the case, why did they put in that thing of him having a flashback to his father's death?
I don't know.
Yeah, because if he knew, why didn't he just like un-Kingpin him? Yeah. And like, does Chameleon's powers make him the strength of Kingpin?
No.
So why was he struggling so much?
Don't know.
Chameleon's like an old man.
It's I like that they have established that Kingpin isn't just a Spider-Man villain. I think that's something they do really well. Like Daredevil's been after Kingpin for a long time.
That's super weird now, isn't it? Like knowing more about like Daredevil stuff and having the Netflix series come out and all this. When I was a kid, Kingpin was a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, because of this.
Yeah, 100% he was just a Spider-Man villain. And also because of the video games. He always showed up in them as well.
Yeah. I think Daredevil and Spider-Man should share villains.
Yeah.
I think they should.
They basically do, because they're both in the same city.
Yeah. And within, like, I always find it weird that Daredevil protects like 5 blocks of New York City. Yeah. He doesn't, obviously. But
5 blocks of New York City that should have been completely gentrified and probably have less crime than they ever did. Yeah.
It's not even Hell's Kitchen anymore, it's Clinton. No. It's like the average house pricing in Hell's Kitchen is $1 million. It's
a good thing he's protecting these, poor folk in that.
Then at the end, when Richard Fisk is caught, you get a replication of he went to prison for his father, so Richard must go to prison for his father.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Kingpin apologises for putting Peter through for his son's actions, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know that he's the Kingpin now, so I can't let him know. And he goes and shakes his hand. And the whole time I was thinking, how did you not know this guy was a criminal? Look at him.
Yeah. Listen to his voice, man.
Yeah. He wears a bone white suit and carries a cane with a taser at the end.
I do like the this is part of what you mentioned, right? Like you get the whole conversation between two heroes and the budding friendship and stuff like that. That is one of the strongest parts of this series as a whole.
Yeah. The chats.
Yeah. This is not... do you know what? It's not a bad representation of Daredevil apart from the voice.
Yeah, the voice and the hair.
The hair. Why is he not redhead?
Yeah, it makes no sense to make
Why is
him
he blonde? I think it's because Peter actually looks like a redhead, even though he's not supposed to.
Yeah, it's especially weird when you consider that the Fantastic Four cartoon we watched was from the same studio. So why didn't they just use the same models?
Yeah.
Why did they redesign him for this one?
Yeah.
It made him blonde. He's never been blonde.
No. I like when they come out the building and Spider-Man says, "Thanks, you saved me, Daredevil. Actually, I was saving Peter Parker."
Yeah.
It's like, you know he's Peter, just say it. Yeah. Just say it. What would you give this one?
I thought it was fun, other than not the poor quality that crops up in all of these cartoons. Probably give it a 7. I think it was fun enough.
I agree. I think it's a 7. It's a good representation of Daredevil.
You just felt rushed, which it probably was, because they did make like 1 million episodes of this show.
Yeah, there was 4 seasons. I think there was about 100 odd episodes.
Yeah.
They did most of the sort of Spider-Man stories that I think resonate with people's minds as well.
Yeah,
like
they did.
The Six-Armed and the Giving Up Spider-Man and
Spider-Man No More.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
did the stuff with the Wolf dude, J. Jonah Jameson Jr. Whatever his name is. They did all that.
The Man Wolf.
Man Wolf. Yeah.
I liked this cartoon growing up. I feel like it's not as translatable now. It's really difficult to watch. It was a reasonable episode, but I think I couldn't give it any more than a 7. And I think I wouldn't give any episode of this more than a 7.
No, yeah. It was good when I was a kid, when it was like a weekly thing, or you watched it like on a Saturday morning, and then would talk to your friends about it at school on Monday. But I wouldn't watch through the whole thing again. I don't think.
No, I think when you compare it to Batman the Animated Series, which came out around the same time, episodes of that have won awards for their writing.
Yeah. This wasn't winning any awards.
No, it definitely wasn't.
You got a Pulitzer.
A Pulitzer.
A Pulitzer.
Right, okay, let's take a break and we'll talk about our next Daredevil from Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We'll see you in a sec.
Bye.
Made it. If you don't tune in on my next week's show, you'll only miss the most exciting adventure of all time, that's all. Be sure to be back next week to see me knock crimes for a loop in the bright lights of Swing City.
Welcome everyone back to our third part where we're going to talk about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, that keeps tripping me up as well. I keep thinking it's called Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's your friendly neighborhood.
Yes, shit name.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about episode... Is it 7?
Let me have a look.
It's earlier than that. 5?
6.
6. All right, 6. There you go. I'd obviously prepped for that. So Peter Parker has a night off from Spider-Man duties, but he is called in to... Roughly, I'm going to just quickly go through the plot. Peter has a night off from his Norman Osborn-backed, which is the worst part of the show. He doesn't need a mentor.
Pisses me off. This is one of my major things. I'll just straight off the bat say what my major issue with this series is. Too many people know he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, already.
It's we're 5 episodes in, and like 4 different people know who he is.
Yeah.
We don't need it. He doesn't need this many people. This is what I liked about the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
No one knew.
No one knows for like the entire run of the show.
Not even the heroes he works with.
No. I prefer that because he's trying to like protect people he loves, and he bugs me. And he's so just like blasé about it. Like he gets caught by Norman Osborn because he took his mask off in a hallway
of a building that Norman Osborn owns. That it definitely has security.
Unbelievable.
I hate the mentor aspect of these modern Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
He is a genius. He doesn't.
Why is he
need
always a
other
child?
people. Yeah. Jeff and I were having a conversation about this. There are like, I think did we mention it on Daredevil in the Details?
We might have.
Like, so Peter Parker was in school for like 20 issues of Spider-Man. Not even that.
Yeah.
Every modern interpretation of Spider-Man starts in school. Why? Yeah. Why is he a school child?
I don't understand it.
What is this obsession with keeping Peter Parker at this sort of like
14-year-old
teenage? Yeah, it's ridiculous. I genuinely don't like Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Yeah, do you not? I think he's fine.
No.
I think he's all right. I think he got better as time went on.
I think Tobey Maguire's the best Spider-Man.
I think Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man in the worst movies.
Possibly, yeah. I think, Tobey Maguire was the middling Spider-Man in the best movies.
Yeah.
Apart from the third one. The third one is so bad.
Yeah, the third one's not very good.
But it's nowhere near like X-Men The Last Stand or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's still watchable, at least.
At least he's got that bit with Topher Grace praying about how much he hates Peter Parker. Because that's really funny. I just hate him so goddamn much.
So the basic plot of this one is that Norman Osborn gives Peter a night off from being Spider-Man, and essentially he is called back to Oscorp because someone's breaking in, and that someone is Daredevil.
Yes, Daredevil himself, stealing something which does not come up at any point again for the rest of this series because nothing is resolved for the entire show.
No.
At all. Nothing is resolved. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. He's in his which is it's just the commonality throughout the entire season.
Yeah, nothing is resolved. There's like a scene, that bit where he gets a camera from his uncle, he gets Uncle Ben's camera, and you think, oh, maybe this is going to go to something we'd like, the Daily Bugle. He uses it once, doesn't go anywhere. There's no point to the scene. Nothing happens. And that happens over and over and over again throughout the entire series. I've got such like a love-hate relationship with this series so far. Like I really enjoyed watching it. I thought it was fun. I liked the characters and all that. But it was just so irritating. Yeah, the designs are fun. Yeah.
I think it skirts the animation skirts between a modern and a 60s interpretation, and I really like that, especially Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
He looks like he was drawn in the 60s. But it feels like a setup for season 2, and I
the whole
fucking hate that. It's one of my biggest problems with like series in general. Don't worry about. There is 80 years worth of 60 years worth of Spider-Man content.
Yeah, seriously.
You don't have to worry about prematurely shooting your Spider-Man load, right?
No,
you can tell whatever story you want, which should have been Green Goblin in this series.
Yeah.
It was all set up for Green Goblin. Set it up, and then move on to the next one. The great thing about that first Insomniac Spider-Man game is it is the story of Peter and Dr. Octopus.
Yes, yeah. And it's established.
And it does that perfectly.
Yeah, it bugs me. It's that whole like... it's like everybody knows this show. Everybody knows the characters and the storyline and the origin story and all of this. They got to a point where they thought, well, we don't need to do the origin story anymore. That's fine. We can just do that.
Yeah.
But then they just started doing it immediately after the origin story.
Yeah.
And it's no different. Like we're still getting the same stories over and over and over and over and over again. Like we don't need another Spider-Man where we find out where his suit came from.
Yeah.
I don't care where his suit came from.
I did like the fact that he tried on all the Spinners costumes.
That was fun. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be as part of a Spider-Man gets his costume.
No.
You know where this story should start? Episode 7, where he's in the red and blue.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe he already works. He's got an internship with Oscorp. He's already friends with Harry. His friendship with Nico is struggling.
It's like,
and that's when the story starts.
Sound like I'm shitting on the show, but I did genuinely enjoy it. I've just got so many problems with it.
Yeah, I just want it to be better.
Yeah.
I think is my takeaway.
And it's too much. This is what's going to happen later.
Yeah,
and not going into it at any point. Like Iron Man shows up for an episode, don't see him again. There was really no reason for him to be there.
No.
Thaddeus Ross shows up, don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason for Iron Man to be there at all.
No.
Apart from the fact that they want to get over that Doc Ock could easily get away if he wanted to. But
the show is more a show about Lonnie Lincoln than anyone else.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not... Lonnie's a great character, but I don't care about Tombstone.
No, I don't either. No. I care about Tombstone's daughter more than Tombstone himself.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting as well, because they've done a Lonnie Lincoln origin story, but they've not in any way connected it to Robbie Robertson.
Yeah.
It's weird, because like we have talked about it a number of times with this show as well, that it's trying to be different from the MCU, but it's not different enough. You've got the Sokovia Accords. You've got like talk of Cap being, because it clearly happens after Civil War, but before Infinity War, right? So you've got mentions of the things that have happened. You've got the Battle of New York. You've got the stuff in Nigeria being mentioned. You've got the Sokovia Accords. You've got Civil War being mentioned. If it's not different, then don't make it different.
Yeah, and they've placed it far too close to Infinity War. To the point where in season 2, are they going to do Infinity War? Is that going to be like the background storyline?
Yeah, maybe.
Because I hope not. Because I've already seen Infinity War.
Well, then also you've got to deal with the concept of the blip.
Yeah.
Unless the Avengers win in this universe in Infinity
maybe.
War and you don't get the blip. That's the only way they could get around it, really. But the show in general, I really love the animation.
Yeah,
I really love...
It took a couple of episodes to like warm on me. I thought it was really ugly to begin with.
Yeah, I did too. Because there's a rotoscoped quality to it.
Yeah.
Where I was convinced that it was rotoscope animation and it's not. I wondered in the first couple of episodes, was there any AI? Because it is slightly too smooth in places, and that's like a big giveaway, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think it is.
Yeah.
However, I do love how everyone moves in this show.
Yeah.
Like the fight scene in the previous, the episode after this, between him and the Scorpion is really great. Really great.
Yeah,
fight scenes in general were good.
The swinging and the fight scenes were cool. I think those were like the standout points of the. We should probably talk about the actual episode, shouldn't we? The Daredevil one. Yeah, the one that we're meant to be talking about.
Yeah.
The fight he has with Daredevil on the rotors of the helicopter. That's really cool. It was really fun.
It's really good. And they really do show off... Right, so we should say that the first thing that happens is that Peter discovers Daredevil on the roof and you get the Netflix theme, which is really strange because they've sort of tried to do away with that in the Born Again show.
Yeah.
Daredevil is wearing his black costume as well, which is going to show up in Born Again. But we know this isn't the Daredevil from our universe.
Yeah. This is a Daredevil who was, as far as we know, suffered no loss.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's even got friends that we didn't know about.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually as well.
Yeah.
But the interplay between them is really good. Like when Spider-Man says, "You're a really good fighter," and Daredevil says, "You're not."
Yeah, it was quippy, but not in a weird 1970s way.
Yeah.
It was more him knowing that he's talking to a 15-year-old.
And also someone whose intentions are good, right?
Yeah.
Because he does try to convince him that Norman Osborn is a bad guy.
That's another thing that annoys me about this show, to be honest. We all know that Norman Osborn is a bad guy. You don't need to build it up for 10 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. It just... This show is handled like a kids show.
Yeah.
In some of them wouldn't have any knowledge of Norman Osborn, I guess, because they might not know who he is.
I kept thinking it would be so much more interesting if it turned out he wasn't a bad guy and he actually was doing all of this for the good of everyone. Do
you know what I really would have liked? Norman being the goodie and Harry secretly subverting him and being the baddie.
Yeah.
And then you would have had a goblin of Peter's age fighting him.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah.
That would have been cool. And then you would have had a reason for the antagonistic relationship between him and Nico as well, because he could be trying to break them up and you wouldn't realise it. Yeah. And then I don't mind them setting that up over 8 episodes because it's something we haven't seen before.
Fun. Yeah. Their relationship was strange, Harry and Nico. It felt very. It wasn't forced. Very believable. Yeah.
Yeah, forced conflict.
Yeah. Where he wears amethysts in his earrings, so she assumes that he's into tarot.
Yeah.
And he's not, and I don't really get where they were going with that.
No. I also just don't... I love Nico as a character. I don't get what they're doing with their relationship.
No, I don't either. Because they did that weird Disney Plus children's cartoon thing where they skirt the line on actually saying if she's a lesbian or not. Yeah. They don't outright say it, but you get like hints to it, which I don't think is enough. Like they need to, just say it. Just make it explicit.
Yeah, because you had them both interested in Pearl a little bit, didn't you? But then that quickly went away.
Yeah.
And Nico and Pearl had no interaction for like 90% of the season.
And what are they going to do with Pearl as well with this? Like, why Pearl Pangan? Why
is she?
She's Wave from the Agents of Atlas. She's a Filipino superhero. And I don't... Okay. Out of everybody they could have chosen, why her? Like, are they going to do anything with that? Or is it just to say, oh, look, we know different characters. We know people from the comics.
I felt like they were doing that with Amadeus Cho as well.
Yeah, because he's Agents of Atlas as well.
Yeah. I wonder if you're going to get an Agents of Atlas spin-off, and I wonder if Taskmaster's daughter is going to be part of that as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. Because maybe you're going to have Nico as well go to that team. Maybe that's what the Harry Osborn setting up the lab at the end is going to be. It's going to be like a agency of superheroes.
A thing in the comics. Yeah. Because Moon Girl is a member for a while.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But they need to spend... If they're going to do that, it needs to be a spin-off. It can't be in the regular continuity of this show.
But if they do make it a spin-off, we won't see it for like another 10 years.
No, true.
Because it takes so long for them to make these shows.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, this was like 5 years ago they talked about this.
Yeah.
It's because they're like, they don't hire enough animators and stuff like that, and they treat them really badly and they burn out.
They announce things too quickly.
Yeah.
Like we've got concept art, so we're going to say the show's coming out in 2 years' time.
Yeah. I think the fight is great. I think they captured Daredevil better than they have in other media. At least the Daredevil... Well, I don't... Actually, I will take that back. I don't think it's fair. I think Fantastic Four captured what Daredevil was like in the 70s. I think Spider-Man captured what Daredevil was like in the 90s. And I think this captures what Daredevil's like now. Yes. I think they're all good representations of Daredevil.
I think it captures what Daredevil's like now with some of the rough edges filed off.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a kid-friendly version of how Daredevil is now. It's like if Daredevil cameoed in somebody else's comic.
Or like when Daredevil was in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't as violent as he is in the Netflix show or Born Again in She-Hulk. I agree. I think they're all good representations of Daredevil. I like that Charlie Cox voiced him. I think that's great. It shows commitment to the character. Job. Yeah. He sounded like he does in the show. Yeah. He didn't sound different, like when Peggy Carter does Agent Carter. Hayley Atwell does Agent Carter, Captain Carter.
Every time Sebastian Stan tries to do voice acting,
oh god,
it sounds so forced. It's like he's never read anything in his life before.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think Sebastian Stan's a pretty good actor. Yeah. But I genuinely, his voice acting is fucking awful.
Yeah, because voice acting and regular acting are two completely different things.
Yeah.
That you can't just assume that you'd be good at one and be good at the other.
No, But
I like they've still got the same guy doing Iron Man's voice.
Yeah.
Still the same dude.
Same guy from all the way back in the Lego Marvel days.
Who always just sounds like he's doing a Robert Downey Jr. impression.
Yeah. He does. He's the guy who voices him in Earth's Mightiest Heroes as well.
Yeah, I thought he would be.
Yeah. He's just like slightly different Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
But also at the end of this series, you do get another Daredevil cameo where he has been revealed to be working with, spoilers, one of the interns at Oscorp, who turns out to be Taskmaster's daughter, who's called Finesse, we found out.
Yeah. Who I'd never heard of before.
No, me neither. So we do admit when we don't know stuff, even though we did a bit of research before. That's interesting. I want to see where that goes.
Yeah.
But also, I don't want loads of side missions.
It does feel like there are a lot of side stuff being built up for season 2. There's like 6 different plot lines, and I'm not really into that.
I mean, what has happened to Peter this series?
Yeah.
He got a new costume. He got slightly outed. He got a new costume. He fought Scorpion, and then he went back and he beat Scorpion. He doesn't know anything about Norman's bad side. He doesn't. Well, I mean, he probably suspects right now because of what happened in the finale. But he never met Dr. Octopus.
The Dr. Octopus went nowhere.
Yeah, I feel like they're setting up like it is in Insomniac, that he's going to be recruiting from inside prison.
Yeah. Who was his partner? Who was that guy? Vince was his name?
I don't know.
I don't know who that was.
Know. But he's
living twink that he was.
Yeah. The one who made sure he was fed and stuff. But you don't end up with anything related to Dr. Connors.
No, that didn't go anywhere either. Oh, Paul F. Tompkins playing that. Is it Whitman?
Yeah,
he was great.
He was great. Who is Dr. Whitman?
Don't know. Is he anyone? Should we have a look? I don't remember there being a Dr. Whitman in anything.
Swarm. Yeah, Deb Whitman, Professor Whitman, a former secretary to Dean Morris Sloan at Empire State University, the estranged wife of Mark Whitman, who is Peter Parker's nemesis, the villain known as Swarm. Okay.
Isn't Swarm the guy who's like made of bees?
Yeah.
And there was that comic where the anti-smoking comic. He's in an anti-smoking comic where he's like smoking cigarettes, and somebody has to show up and say, "Don't smoke cigarettes, Swarm. It will give you cancer." And he says, "No, I'm going to use my bees to give everybody tobacco," and they have to stop him.
Wow. You also got like the chameleon that never went anywhere in the show. The rhino that never went anywhere in the show.
Unicorn sort of went
Unicorn.
Somewhere. Who was Chameleon? Who was Chameleon? I don't remember Chameleon.
He turned up. He
was one of the Russians.
Lonnie's gang.
Yeah.
He was the other Russian guy. So you had Unicorn, Rhino, and Chameleon all in the same team.
Yeah.
And they never did anything with it.
I liked his how they portrayed Rhino. His characterization. I thought that was pretty fun because like in the comics now, Rhino is sort of he's a bad guy but not a bad guy.
Yeah, he helps Miles, doesn't he? Miles, it helps him quite a lot. I thought that's where they were going with the spider that got loose. I thought they were going to introduce Miles as well, and I was like, oh god, well, the thing is, introduce anything else.
In that first episode where he gets bitten by the spider and then he gets up, that spider goes onto somebody else's bag as they're leaving the scene. So is that going to go somewhere?
Don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's an interesting show. I don't know where
it's fun, but it pissed me off a lot of the time.
Yeah. I like it, but I don't like it for a lot of reasons, I think, like you. This episode is a nothing episode with some Daredevil in it.
Yeah, basically.
It's probably like a 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
The bits with Daredevil in, more of a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
But the bits with Daredevil, every character should be asking, "Where's Daredevil?"
There's nothing that happens in this episode that is Spider-Man related. It's all Nico and Harry and Lonnie. Your friendly neighbourhood Lonnie, who is a really good character. I just don't want to spend too long on Lonnie in a series about Spider-Man.
It was the Lonnie show. I remember saying before I even watched any of the episodes of this, I was looking at the synopses on Disney Plus, and everyone was like, Lonnie goes here, Lonnie does this, and I kept thinking, who's Lonnie?
And it's clear he's going to be like a sort of like Willy Won't He antagonist for the next season, probably before he is the antagonist of the third season. I don't care about that story.
No, not for three seasons.
No, it'd be too much. But luckily, it's probably like 10 years before the next season comes out, so we don't have to worry about it. I'd give it a 6, I think.
Yeah, I'm about the same, I think. Yeah.
All right, then. There's your Daredevil content.
Daredevil.
Aren't you glad? Do we want to read some emails? Remember, we have to read V's from last week that was too long. We told you, V, we were going to do it.
We always keep our promises.
And by the way, people who don't listen to Toonhounds, who only listen to Daredevil in the details, I can't imagine there are many of those, we are going to read emails from our Toonhounds episode audience.
I don't know how I'm going to release this.
Release it on both.
Okay. The title of the email, and I'm sure she's been waiting a very long time to make me say this. My name is Rappin' V, and I'm here to say I'm delivering an email in a major way. My rhymes are good, and my prose is unfocused and in need of a second or third pass. When I eat beans, I blow them out my ass. When you cook ham, you strap it up with twine. I'm going to take your wife out, and with her I shall dine. Dogs go bark, I walk around the park. When I write emails, we all have a lark. Should I write about politics? No, that would get dark. I'm the boss, so they call me Grand Moff Tark. Ooh, yeah, hound dog howl, a woo, woof, woof, hot fire, pew, 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 boo, boo, honk, honk, pew, 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 major bars, let's go chat, V to feature on Kendrick's next album, fire emoji, flying money emoji, gunshot, cash register sound. I forgot what I was doing when I started this email. And also, hello, this is V talking now. I've assumed direct control of Spivzy, apart from when they aren't saying things I made them say. Bwee-oo, like that noise. Abe makes, like that noise Abe makes in Abe's Odyssey. God, that's a reference, jeez.
That is a reference.
Look at Abe's Odyssey. A game from like 1997.
What a game, though.
Great game. Bwee-oo, okay, follow me, okay. That was it. Please go through this very insightful list of hot alien babes for content, thank you. It has boys on it too, so it's not weird.
Okay.
There's a link to an EW.com gallery of sexy aliens.
Do you want to send it to me so we can look together?
Oh, I've got it on my phone. I'll just I'll copy the thing.
Okay. Oh, Henry Cavill's in there, so I'm down for this content so far.
Let's see what we got.
Number one
is Superman.
Yeah. He's a good-looking man.
Specifically, Henry Cavill, Superman?
Yeah, because they mentioned films, Man of Steel to Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine.
he is a handsome man.
Yeah,
he is a good Superman in a set of bad films.
Yeah, he looks like a superhero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Number 2 is Mr. Spock. Played by Zachary Quinto. No.
Quinto, the worst Spock?
No, I'm not having
disagree.
That one. Yeah, disagree. Zachary Quinto always looks like he's trying to remember something.
He is what my wife calls a smell the fart actor.
Yeah.
Looks like he's trying to find out where a fart has come from.
Number 3 is Inara from Firefly and Serenity. I've never seen Firefly, so I can't speak to it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So interestingly, going back to Zachary Quinto, he is a very good voice actor as a robot in Invincible.
Yeah. It's because he's got no emotion. He's good at playing a robot.
Don't think Henry Cavill has done any voice acting.
I don't think so. No.
But Inara, I mean, Marina Baccarin is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a Scarlet Witch quality about her that I really like.
Yeah.
But she was the voice of Black Canary in Justice League Unlimited.
She's been in something else superhero related, but I can't think what it was. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
She was Vanessa. She was Copycat.
Yeah.
Although they never made her Copycat.
Number 4 is from Lex. Jeez, Zev
I never
Bellringer.
watched Lex.
I never watched Lex, but this isn't doing anything for me, the picture.
No. This is 90s grunge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, not for me.
No, I don't like that one. Let's go through this a bit quickly now. Max and Isabel Evans from Roswell.
From Roswell? No.
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 Marta, the Orion dancing girl.
No. Gratuitous.
No. Yeah. Caprica 6, Deanna Beers, and Sharon Boomer Agathon from Battlestar Galactica.
Okay, Boomer and Caprica, yes. Deanna Beers is not in it for very many episodes, although Lucy Lawless is beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all lovely.
Yeah. 7 and 9.
Look at that pose they got her in.
Jeez. I don't want to. I feel bad for that one.
Yeah. It's because she's struggling to breathe. That's like, look how white her face is. I think she's oxygen deprived from that catsuit.
Barbarella from
Never
Barbarella.
got that.
No,
Never understood.
No. Weird movie.
Yeah.
Lando Calrissian. Yeah.
Look at that pose.
Yeah, absolutely. Billy Dee Williams. Yeah.
No to Jeff Bridges and Starman.
No.
He's got his pants on show, man.
Syl from Species. Species is such a bad movie.
It's awful.
Princess Aura from Flash Gordon. Fine.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Another Superman.
Chris Reeve, Superman. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think more when he's Clark Kent than when he's Superman. Christopher Eccleston, the Doctor. Come on.
He's a weird Paul.
Yeah. Lilu from Fifth Element.
I do not like Mila Jovovich. I don't know. I know how she keeps getting parts, but she is not a good actress. Actor. I mean, she's in that new thing with Dave Bautista, but it's her director husband again. She is not good.
No. Worf. We got Michael Dorn. Yeah.
Also, voice actor for Battle Beast.
He's done so many voice acting. He's a good voice actor.
He is good. He's really good as Battle Beast because it's like Worf dialed up to 11.
God, this one's a pull. Selena from Men in Black 2.
I mean, the only reason they're doing that is because she has got her bra out on the picture.
Yeah. She's got a Norks out in the picture.
Yeah.
Jadzia Dax.
I mean, I'm always a Dax fan, so I think Terry Farrell is beautiful.
The brother from Another Planet.
That is a deep pull as well.
What the hell is that? And finally, Diana from V. Oh, V.
V was great. V was great.
Which one? Didn't they remake it?
They did. It wasn't very good.
No, I've never seen it.
I think it had Marina Baccarin in it, the remake. But the original was really good. I remember it scaring me as a kid. Bad special effects. That was an interesting list because there's some people in there that I would not have put on that list.
No, yeah. Just like really basic looking people.
Yeah.
Where was the antenna? Where was people with 7 heads? Yeah, come on. It'd be a bit more imaginative, EW.com.
It's weird.
The email says, "Ooh, content, yum yum, slurp it up. Can we watch some good tunes next time, please, thank you, or some actual garbage? I don't like Studio Jubilees because I'm a villain. You could watch the animated restorations of Lost Doctor Who episodes. That's something, I don't know. Did you know I've been watching Doctor Who? Squid does. Richard, which episode did you writer's room on? It's very weird to me you used to work in the city. I always imagine you as that poncy art fuck from Iron Giant, but with Batman and Lego."
Yeah, alright, okay. I'm not answering that question.
You're not allowed to under NDA.
I'm not.
You'll get arrested. They'll come for you. Shall we do 2 news? Sure, let's do 2 news. Do 2 news. Some Chinese animated film is now the highest grossing animated film of all time and not Inside Out 2. I haven't heard of it.
That?
It's called Nija 2. That's nice for them. I hope they all got a bottle of wine to celebrate. And maybe some chockies. It's the sequel to another movie that came out a couple of years ago. It's by like a huge Chinese animated feature film company. But apparently it's gross out humour like the entire way through, where the whole thing is just like shit and fart jokes. And it's made like $1 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. It's the highest grossing in a single market. So is it the highest grossing? Who can say?
Who can say? Who wants to say?
Wallace and Gromit won 2 BAFTAs. That's neat.
Yep.
Still don't like new Wallace voice. He says words that aren't Wallace words. What does that mean? I didn't recognise the difference.
There was much difference.
No. I liked it when he said, "Well, I'll go to the foot of our stairs." I thought that was funny. That weird green German gummy bear from YouTube from like 2008 is getting a theatrical film. I hope he teams up with the Crazy Frog or the Annoying Thing or whatever it's legally called. Yeah, is it Caramel Dancing? I don't know if it's Caramel Dancing.
I think I know what you're talking about, but it's one of those things that has left my collective consciousness. And
if
I
it's
don't
not
want
Hamster
it to
Dance,
re-enter.
yeah. Moana 2, The Quest for More Money, made $1 billion money at the box office. Yippee, wowie zowie. But some artist wants to sue Disney for $10 billion in a copyright lawsuit over Moana 2. That's more money than it made. Good luck, person. You probably won't get it. That's enough Toon news.
That was good Toon news. Thank you.
Thank you for the Toon news. Rich, stop feeding Evan so many jagged potatoes. You're now telling me he likes them, and it's easier than making him eat not jagged potatoes.
I don't feed them to him. He chooses them at school. What am I supposed to do? I can't control him at school.
I used to have jagged potatoes at school as well.
He has got into trouble a lot this week for sneaking toys into school.
Nice. I mean, of all the things you're going to get in trouble for.
I told him the next toy I found in his bag, because he keeps lying to us and saying he's not got stuff in his bag. So we're bag searching him as he leaves the house now. But the next toy that I find in his bag is going in the bin. And I have backed myself into a corner now where I have to throw the next toy of his away. So I'm hoping it's not something I've spent a lot of money on.
Then you throw it away for a bit until he forgets, and then you like sneak it back into his room.
I rebought it for you.
Yeah, because you were so good. Yeah. How much are Tamagotchis these days? I want one. How often does it need babysitting? If it's more effort than a houseplant, I will kill it.
It is slightly more effort than a houseplant, and it makes a lot of noise. After the second one died, I have hidden it, and Evan has forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Which is the best way to be.
Then it was stuff that we already read for the other episode.
Cool.
I hope this episode didn't run long, else you're going to be here until bedtime. Wait, it's 11:45 at the moment, so that was all right.
We have been recording in the daytime recently because it's just a little bit easier for us.
Emergency Toon news. The Kick the Cheek plushie is back on sale. Yay! From Homestar Runner. Well, I think it's out of stock already. I think it was out of stock when this email got sent. It sure would be nice to buy V that for her birthday on the 27th of March. That's V's birthday on the 27th of March. Contact V for more details.
That's 2 days before my mother's birthday.
Oh, wow. Maybe they know each other.
Maybe. Maybe they're the same age. Who knows?
Bored of this email now. Every time someone said Toonbox roll out this, let's take a shot. Okay, you can have Spivzy back now. Bye. V. And that was
I feel like
that was our email.
That's not going to be the last female, I doubt. So
no, it's for this week.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. We've got one more email who is new to the show, and it says,
Ooh.
Hi, I'm new to the podcast and just want to say that I'm enjoying it. Also, will you be discussing Pokemon anytime soon? And would you consider doing an episode on animated reconstructions of Doctor Who? Sincerely, Tom.
Well, that's 2 votes in the same episode for animated Doctor Who. Yes. I feel we did. Have we done Pokemon?
No, we've never done Pokemon. We've done Digimon, but we've never done Pokemon.
It's interesting because when we did pilots, one of my picks was Pokemon because we talked about it quite in depth about how it's the perfect pilot because you get everything you need to know about Pokemon in that episode.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should do Pokemon. It's been going on for a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to watch some episodes of the new one. I haven't seen any of the new season.
I haven't seen any of it. I've seen the entire first season.
Yeah.
But when he switched planes of existence.
Yeah.
I didn't follow it after.
I've seen all of the first season. I've seen a lot of Johto, Gold and Silver, because it was on when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Then I fell off it for years. I never watched Ruby Sapphire, I never watched Diamond Pearl, I never watched XY or any of that. But then I got back into it on Sun and Moon because it was the animation, like the style of animation changed, and it was really, really, really good.
Oh, cool.
But then I haven't seen anything past that.
Okay.
They turned it into like a ensemble cast for a bit, where he wasn't travelling around the entire world. It was situated in one place, like a school that he was going to learn how to be a Pokemon trainer. And he would
That's cool.
Yeah. And there was a lot more, a bigger cast of characters around him. It was cool.
That seems little bit too late once he's been going across the world trying to catch
for the past 25
thing.
years.
What happens, do you think, if you throw a Pokeball at a human?
They killed instantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crushed.
Yeah.
It's like putting them in a car crusher.
Yeah. I mean, there is there's a couple of episodes where they put like a donut or a rice ball in a Pokeball. So maybe you can put other things inside Pokeballs.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Maybe we should do a Pokemon episode.
Yeah, we probably should. We'll do it at some point.
We're not yet, though, because next week we're doing Steven Universe.
We are doing Steven Universe next episode. And then who knows what we'll do after that. We keep threatening to do another weird episode.
Yeah,
I'm down for some weird.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your emails. And thank you for Thomas. Thank you all for watching. We do like emails from newbies and people who haven't emailed in before. So please do. Or if you're if you've emailed once and you've never emailed again, it's time for a new email.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you've thought about some of the episodes that we've done in the past.
Yeah.
I always like it when someone's reinforcing my opinion or flat out just disagreeing with it and I have to defend myself.
You're always having to do that.
I am. It's my wild opinions. That's what it is. Right. Thank you to everyone for listening. If you want to support the show, you can head over to patreon.com/Toonhounds and support us there. You get access to some of our sidecasts. You get access to the Discord. You get to suggest themes and such.
You also get month early access to Daredevil in the Detail,
Yes.
new Daredevil focused show. There's 3 episodes available at the moment on the Patreon. There are 1 available on Spotify if you want to listen to the first episode, but you'll have to wait until April the 11th for the next one on Spotify. So
wow,
run, don't walk to the Patreon to get the other 2 episodes.
But don't do it in Daredevil fashion. You must keep your eyes open, okay? Yeah. It's been fun talking about Daredevil in a place that isn't Toonhounds, although this is Toonhounds and we're still talking about Daredevil. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the support for that show as well, because we've had some good comments about that. We're going to keep doing that. There's plenty of Daredevil content.
So much. We could do the games that he was in.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I think next time we should do the Ben Affleck.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah.
What did someone call it? The Carnival of Trash.
Yeah.
I saw it referred to as. But yeah, I'd like to do that. So maybe we'll do that next time. I
googled the Ben Affleck Daredevil the other day because I was trying to find something to put as an advert into DTITD. And I thought, maybe there was like a commercial or something for something Ben Affleck Daredevil. And it came with short form videos, TikTok stuff. And the majority of them were titled, "Did Ben Affleck cook as Daredevil?" But they were all from different creators.
Weird.
So what was that about? What was it like? Was there meant to be a Daredevil Ben Affleck resurgence recently? Where everyone say no, it was good actually, because it's not. It's not a good movie.
It's not good.
No.
I don't know why. There's always this. It's like the prequel apologists. Come on, man, it wasn't good. let's not pretend.
Yeah, stop lying to yourselves.
Yeah. Right, that's the last thing, I guess. Next time, Steven Universe. Email us at toonhounds@gmail.com if you've got anything to say. We love reading emails. But apart from that, we'll see you on the next episode for Steven Universe. And if you're listening to this as a Daredevil in the Details, we'll see you on the next episode of that for possibly the Ben Affleck film. We'll see. Possibly. Fun. I'm not promising anything. Right, and thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.